So now we will announce the Seoul vision for the future of safeguarding living heritage for sustainable development and peace. And for that, we would like to invite Ms. Park Sang-mi, Ambassador, a permanent delegate of the Republic of Korea to UNESCO, and Mr. Ernesto Otone, Assistant DG for Culture at UNESCO. Please give them a big round of applause. I believe we are still waiting for the Assistant Director General. Yes, he is entering the venue. Once again, please welcome Ms. Park Sang-mi, Ambassador of the Permanent Delegates of the ROK to UNESCO, and Mr. Ernesto Otone, Assistant DG for Culture at UNESCO. Please give them a big round of applause. We'll watch a short video.
So, dear participants, following 2 days of enriching discussions, gathering more than 20 distinguished panelists, we have reflected on the future direction of the convention. These insights have helped us to frame what is called the Seoul vision for the future of safeguarding living heritage for sustainable development and peace, which, together with Her Excellency Ms. Sang-mi Park, Ambassador Permanent Delegate of the Republic of Korea to UNESCO, I now have the pleasure to announce in this session. Allow me to begin. Now is the time to unleash the power of living heritage for ensuring sustainable development and peace, for enhancing solidarity and inclusion, for preserving biodiversity and oceans, and for responding to health, social, and economic crises. Now is the time to recognize culture as a global public good, as underlined in the Mondial Declaration adopted by 150 states at the UNESCO World Conference on Culture Policy and Sustainable Development, and with it acknowledge the importance of living heritage cutting across every dimension of sustainability. Now is time for culture, including living heritage, to be recognized not only as a fundamental right, but also as a key pillar of sustainability on its own.
We recall that intangible cultural heritage is created and recreated by communities who practice and transmit it, and is inseparable from their social, cultural, and economic lives. Over the next 20 years, we must bring to the forefront the voices of the community members for them to convey and share contextually relevant solutions and strengthen their active participation at national and international levels. This will help ensure that sustainable development agendas truly harness the power of living heritage to achieve our common goals. We recognize that the intersection between living heritage and economic development is complex and multifaceted, and that economic activity can have both positive and negative effects on living heritage safeguarding, as well as the livelihood of practitioners and communities. The knowledge, skills, and practices which local and indigenous communities have maintained, transmitted, and enhanced over generations has the potential to provide livelihood for many people and can generate revenue and decent work, including for people of different ages and genders and indigenous peoples.
We reaffirm the central role that living heritage can play in tackling the pressing global environmental changes facing our lives and the planet, in not only providing time-tested solutions, but in shaping and reaffirming our relationship to the natural world. Living heritage expression foster value of respect, custodianship, and reciprocally towards nature and promote awareness and understanding of the diverse value systems and concepts that local communities have in relation to the natural world. We recognize that living heritage is a powerful resource we can harness to address the document global learning crisis, where education system struggles to meet the expectations and needs of the next generation. Living heritage can make a significant contribution to improving the quality and relevance of education, fostering appreciation for cultural diversity, and contributing to education for peace, global citizenship, and sustainable development.
We acknowledge the groundbreaking impact of digital technologies on people's lives and their intangible heritage, both posing new threats and providing new opportunities for its continued transmission to future generations. We underline that in this regard, addressing rights and ethics issues in the changing digital space is important. We also believe that as hate speech and expressions of racism and xenophobia circulate rapidly on the internet, the power of living heritage to foster respect for diversity and celebrate differences can be and should be harnessed as a countering force, connecting rather than dividing people around the globe. We are convinced that intangible cultural heritage safeguarding needs to engage all stakeholders and policy areas within and beyond the culture sector. This involves state authorities, local governments, civil society organizations, international organizations, and the private sector. Joint action and tailored responses can considerably enhance the present and the future of living heritage safeguarding and ensure that it is leveraged for improving people's lives.
In the next 20 years, we envision that we renew the efforts and joint action from all stakeholders. The role of intangible cultural heritage as a driver of sustainable development will be firmly established and fully integrated into national development plans, policies, and programs at all levels, recognizing at the same time the interdependence between the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage and sustainable development, peace, and human security. These outlines our collaborative vision for the future of this convention. From the dynamic and productive discussion these past 2 days, we have reflected on the key areas of action and how the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage can be leveraged to contribute to some of the most pressing and urgent issues of today and those of tomorrow. With this, let us now move to the closing of our meeting. Thank you so much.
네, 유네스코 무형유산 보호에
This is a historic moment for the safeguarding of ICH. This is the 20th anniversary celebration of the Convention for the Safeguarding of ICH, and it is almost time for us to close. In yesterday's session 1, we talked about sustainable livelihoods and living heritage. In session 2, talked about nature, and in session 3, quality education. Finally, in today's morning session, in session 4, we talked about digital environment, and particularly the impact of digital environments on living heritage. We discussed many different areas from different points of view, and we've brought many speakers and panelists from different walks of life to have very significant discussions. We'll now move on to the closing ceremony. We'll hear the closing remarks. First of all, we would like to invite Mr. Kim Ji-sung, Director General of ICHCAP, one of our co-hosts, to please come up and provide us with his closing remarks. Please give him a big round of applause.
내외 기빈 여러분,
Good morning,
참가자 여러분,
distinguished guests,
안녕하십니까?
ladies and gentlemen.
유네스코
I am Kim
아태무형유산센터
Ji-sung, Director General of
상무부장입니다.
ICHCAP.
먼저
I would first like to express my
유네스코
gratitude to those from UNESCO, including Deputy Director General Chi Sing, Assistant Director General Otone, Secretary Tim Curtis, and Chief Suzanne Shinotken for providing support and traveling all the way to Korea to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the convention with us here in Seoul. And I would also like to express my gratitude to someone who is here, Ambassador Park Sang-mi of Korea to UNESCO, and thank you very much for your support. As we are about to conclude the event, I'm standing here before you with heartfelt gratitude. I'm very pleased that Korea has hosted this meaningful celebration of the 20th anniversary of the convention, and that the event that we organized as a large on-site gathering after the pandemic has been a big success. Through this conference, we explored interconnections and intersections between intangible cultural heritage and sustainable livelihoods, quality education, the natural world, and the digital environment. At the sessions, we renewed our attention to the role of living heritage and discussed ways to promote sustainable development using ICH. The culmination of our discussions is the announcement of the Seoul Vision. The Seoul Vision reaffirms our commitment to the safeguarding, promotion, and transmission of intangible cultural heritage that we have continued for the past 20 years, and highlighted the importance of sustainable action, inclusive education, harmonious relationship with the nature, and responsible use of digital technologies for the protection and utilization of living heritage. We also need to support leadership of the next generation for the transmission of living heritage and encourage the participation of various stakeholders in the digital space for the protection of creative heritage, and continue in-depth research on the potential and the role of ICH to contribute to peace and sustainable development of communities. As the Seoul Vision has been created based on all the comments and views that we collected from the participants, we must recognize and uphold this vision statement as containing key principles and guides for our actions regarding ICH safeguarding going forward. We reaffirmed our commitment to stronger cooperation across nations, regions, and sectors. We expect that the Seoul Vision will serve as a roadmap for governments, organizations, local communities, and individuals to work together to safeguard intangible heritage and transmit living heritage of today and tomorrow. Ensuring implementation of the convention in the Asia-Pacific region and promoting the sharing of ICH information and networking among the member states have been the key objectives of ICHCAP, and we will continue to work with the member states to continue these endeavors. I'd like to express my gratitude to Assistant DG Otone of UNESCO and Ambassador Park Sang-mi for their support in successfully drafting the Seoul Vision. I would also like to thank all the participants, including moderators and the panelists. Finally, this event would not have been possible without full-fledged support from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Cultural Heritage Administration, who have co-hosted the conference. I'd like to thank the Foreign Minister, CHA Administrator, and staff members for their hard work. I would also like to express my gratitude to ICHCAP staff members who have worked so hard for the couple of months to prepare for the event. I would also like to express my gratitude to CEO Kim Woo-yeol of EBS and the staff members for live broadcasting. There are so many ICHCAP members who have worked day and night to prepare. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank the interpreters for yesterday and today's support. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you for those remarks, Director General Kim. Next, we would like to invite one of our other co-hosts, Kim Dong-ha, who is a director at ICHF, another co-host of today's event, to provide us with his closing remarks as well.
존경하는 치싱 유네스코
Honorable Chi Xing, Deputy Director General of UNESCO, Ernesto Tone, Assistant Director General for Culture at UNESCO, Park Sang-mi, Ambassador for the Permanent Delegates of the Republic of Korea to UNESCO, Professor Janet Blake, and all of the experts on ICH from all across the world, distinguished guests. I am very pleased that we've had the successful conclusion for this 20th anniversary celebration of the convention. My name is Kim Dong-ha, I'm a director at the Korea Cultural Heritage Foundation. Living heritage is the source of creativity and our cultural diversity, and it is closely tied in with our lives. And it is now 20 years since we have first signed this convention safeguarding ICH. In today's celebration and international conference, we had the opportunity to look back at the significance of ICH across how it touches our societies and our cultures. We've also announced the Seoul vision for the future of ICH for sustainable development and sustainable peace. For the past 2 days, we've heard from all of you your valuable insights and your passionate discussions. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my sincerest gratitude to all the experts here. Distinguished guests, ICH is living heritage. This means that it is not static and fixed in the past. It's living and breathing, and this is a heritage that must be passed on to the future generations. And to that end, we need the participation of UNESCO, governments, civil society, academia, and of course, very importantly, the communities who are at the center of practicing and preserving this ICH. Through today's Seoul vision, we will continue to work tirelessly towards the safeguarding of ICH for sustainable development. And we believe that this is going to be a great opportunity for us to pull together all of our efforts to respond to the various threats that are confronting us right now. The Korea Cultural Heritage Foundation, which is an advisory body, accredited advisory body for UNESCO, will work also to implement the convention and also to try to create a sustainable society where we can continue to respond to the challenges in front of us. This was a valuable opportunity for us to look back on the 20 years of safeguarding ICH. Thank you once again for your presence here, and we hope to see you again at a later date. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was remarks from Kim Dong-ha. Finally, I'd like to invite Deputy TGG Chi Xing of UNESCO for his concluding remarks.
Your Excellency Ambassador Park Sang-mi, Permanent Delegate of the Republic of Korea to UNESCO. Excellencies, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure and an honor to close this 20th anniversary celebration for the Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. I would like to thank the Republic of Korea once again for giving us this opportunity. I would also like to thank all the experts, member states, non-governmental organizations, and local communities who have taken part in our discussions. You are the ones who keep our marvelous convention alive every day on the ground. And as we celebrate its 20th anniversary, you are best placed to help us sum up its past successes and think about its future. Throughout this conference, we have reiterated the two convictions that gave rise to the 2003 Convention. Firstly, that intangible heritage is not only one of the great riches of humanity, but also a source of hope for the future. We have recalled its call in uniting communities, promoting peace, driving employment and creativity, and empowering women and youth. We have emphasized the ways in which this knowledge, this know-how, these worldviews, especially those of indigenous communities, are invaluable in rebuilding humanity's relationship with nature. And for all these reasons, we have underlined, and this is the second conviction, that the international community has a responsibility to preserve and pass on this heritage. 20 years ago, the 2003 Convention enshrined these convictions. What was a bold affirmation at the time has now become an almost universally held belief. In recent years, we have measured how far we have come, how the Convention has fostered norms, mechanisms, and standards to preserve heritage at all levels. But while these successes are real, we also know, as you have pointed out, that we still have a long way to go. We must not be naive about the challenges that threaten our intangible heritage, from demographic change, mass urbanization, and economic pressures to climate disruption, the digital revolution, and the health crises. These are all upheavals that can damage social fabric, weaken community cohesion, and destroy the places where intangible heritage is passed on. In the face of these challenges, we need to pool all our efforts and seize every opportunity to realize the potential of the Convention, to mobilize the power of education, which is central to transmission and which has much to learn from intangible heritage, to invest in the exceptional potential of digital technology so it is an ally rather than a threat, to incorporate intangible heritage into the green transition, and to place intangible heritage, a formidable tool for employment and development, at the heart of our societies. In short, to ensure that the heritage of yesterday is also a heritage of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the path that you have taken at this conference with the Seoul vision. It will guide us to the 18th session of the Intergovernmental Committee in Botswana in December, which will mark the end of the Convention's 20th anniversary celebration. And our reflections will not stop here. It is up to us to keep the convention alive, to take it into future as we have done for the past 20 years. So, in closing, let me thank you all, and let me once again thank the Republic of Korea for giving us the opportunity to chart this path together. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Deputy Director General Chi Shing of UNESCO, for your closing remarks. With that, we would like to conclude Unleashing the Power of Living Heritage for Sustainable Development and Peace, this 20th anniversary celebration of the Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage Global Meeting and announcement of the Seoul Vision. The convention was adopted in 2003, and we are celebrating 20 years of its adoption. I do hope that this was a meaningful time for all of you today as well as yesterday, and we hope you have a safe return home.
Appreciate your presence. Please have a safe travel back home. And I have one quick notice from the organizers. For panelists and UNESCO delegations, please check out first and then bring your luggage to the lunch place. It's on the second floor that we had, the lunch place that we had yesterday. It's the second floor, the place that we had lunch yesterday. We will leave the hotel at 13 p.m. sharp. So thank you for your cooperation. And also, we will have an official photo session just now, so please come up to the podium for the panelists and UNESCO delegations. Please come up to the stage for a photo op. Thank you so much.